back to my YouTube channel today, and I have a very amazing guest. Her name is Njeri Muthoni, and I'll start by introducing herself. Yes.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much, Loise, for having me on your channel. I'm excited to have a conversation with you. Yeah, my name is Njeri Muthoni. I am a diversity and inclusion and equity specialist, and I work in Dedan Kimathi University of Technology in Nyeri. I am a gender and disability mainstreaming officer. Yeah, and I hope we have a good conversation and have fun.
Okay. Now, how have how has this journey been since when you were young?
Mhm.
Yes.
I am born and raised and educated in Nyeri. So yeah, Nyeri is home. I'm raised here. I went to school in Kibaki's backyard in Othaya, both primary school and high school. I went to Othaya Girls High School, which I really loved. And yeah, I studied at the Kimathi University and then got absorbed as a staff member in the same university.
What inspired you to do what you are doing now?
All right. So I came, obviously, I have had a unique life where I've gone to school born with a congenital difference, and that means that I was born with a congenital um, disability. And so when I came, so that journey has just been that different from other people. However, when I came to campus is when I realized that there are certain things that I have experienced differently in my life. So fortunately in my campus there was very good support in the students welfare department. So there were things that students with disabilities were getting as privileges. So I could access hostels easily if I needed transport to go to class, especially the students who had mobility difficulties. So how do I get to class? How do they, if they need support with their mental health, because there are certain things that they need. So we got that, and I became very passionate. There was a support group for students with disabilities, and I just started doing that from first year to fourth year, and that led to just realizing what I want to do with life. Yeah, and the university asked me to come back and do that as a staff member and run the office, and it's been 5 years now.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
How do you feel? Do you feel that awkward look
Mm-hmm.
to these other people, to other people?
Mm-hmm. So of course, yeah, what happens with disability is very social, apart from being a physical difficulty accessing the environment. It's very social, that your difference can be more social than it is physical. So when you will have people staring, people making inappropriate comments about your difference, and that is something that I think, as a person who has lived with a disability all my life, I have gotten used to it, and grown into knowing what to do. So if people are staring, and especially children, I think for adults it's quite I don't think adults do it too much, but when it's children, when children are staring at you, I actually just say hi to them. If a child is looking at me too much, I say hi to them. I ask them Sasa and things like that. But adults, I don't really care. Yeah.
And do you feel sometimes you are, how can I say, different? Do you ever over explain yourself?
Mhm.
Because I also sometimes
Mhm.
people ask me too many questions, and then I tell them too
Mm.
many things. And do you use, what do you do at that point?
All right. I think you find a balance, and I say that because you get your footing. It's practice. It's practice, and the longer you have your disability, the better you become at knowing what to do. So if it's kids, I don't mind children asking questions because children are curious. So children will ask you questions like me. They will ask me, kwa nini shingo yako iko hivyo? So you will know what to do in whatever setting. If it's with you're with their family or whatever, you can ask them you can tell them watu wengine walizaliwa tu hivyo. If you know that they are religious, you can tell them that sometimes God creates people differently. But when it's adults, I don't think adults can ask inappropriate questions like that. I've not found myself in such a position unless I'm in a professional setting. Like when people ask me about my disability, when I am in a professional setting, at an interview or things like that, then I can explain to them. If it's a social setting, I don't think so, but you get your footing. The longer you have your disability, you get your footing. What do you want to tell people, or do you find it necessary to explain? Sometimes it's not necessary, so you can ignore it. Yeah, you get used to it, and you know what to do.
And what are your highest points and weakest points in your life as you deal with a disability?
Yeah. I don't think having a disability is difficult per se. It is our environments and our communities that make it difficult. So let's say you have a mobility disability. You can't access, you can't walk through stairs and things like that. If if there is provisions for me to be successful in what I am doing, my life is not difficult. But if people make it difficult for me as a person who has a disability, of course it becomes difficult. So when I am in an environment that makes it difficult for me to exist, it's hard. And that is when, as I've said, you get better with your disabilities. When I was a child, it was very difficult. I know that I am different from other children. There are sometimes other children can bully children who have disabilities and things like that. So it's difficult. But when I grow older, especially as an adult, you self-train with self-advocacy, especially now if you're going into school, into campus, into work. You have the right to say that I am not able to do this like this. Like for me, I need a special seating arrangement. So nikiwa mtoto, I'm not able to express that. But when I'm an adult, of course I'm able to express that and say, in employment, in school, I need this kind of seat, this kind of sitting area, so my employer has to provide it, and that is self-advocacy. So you get better at it, and I think children with disabilities need a lot of training with that, and even people with disabilities generally, just getting trained with self-advocacy. How do you ask for the things that you need to live efficiently with your disability and your needs? Yeah.
Did you get that peace that when you grew up that you are at peace, that you are disabled? And that's one. Number two, what does that disability help you in advocating to other people?
Yeah.
Yes.
First, the first question is, do you make peace? Yeah, it's a decision that you make. You can make the decision to wake up every day and say, my life is difficult because I have a disability. You can wake up every day and make that decision, but you can also wake up every day and make the decision to say that this is my life. I am going to love it. I am going to live with it, and I'm going to make the best out of it. So I think it's a decision, and it's a certain point of life that you get to where you have to decide to make that decision. So if it is in adulthood or somewhere in teenagehood, whatever resources you need, people need therapy, some people are helped by their parents or their teachers to get there, but you can get there. So, and I hope and pray that every child or a person who has a disability gets to that point that they know you don't need to change anything in you unless you need to. You don't have to. If your disability is not painful and making you live a very difficult life, and there is something that medics can do for you, go for it. But if your disability is not painful and you can live a life that is full, just make a decision to live it happily and how you want to live it, but because it's possible. And the other question is, it is very important that the people who are experiencing a certain thing in life are are the ones living and working in that space. So I made the decision to know and say that as a member of the community of people with disabilities, if I get the resources in education to become an expert in such issues, I should be the one to sit there and speak for us. Because someone who does not have a disability does can study and understand the 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 intricacies of having a disability, but really they cannot really understand the true experience of that, of living with a disability. So if we can get more people who are in that experience to speak for us, people in the disability space who have disabilities, and if you have the passion for it, why not? Of course, I'm not saying that everyone who has a disability should work in the disability space, but if you find that your passions and your interests pull you towards that, sure, go for it. Because even for other issues, if we are talking about women's health, it is better that women talk about women's health because they have the true experience for it. But and that's the same thing. If we are talking about people with disabilities and making policies about it, making decisions around the disability space, it is better that people with disabilities are involved in that. And if some of us find the resources, the education, the things to work around that area, then sure. And that's the decision I made. After I finished my undergraduate degree, which was in marketing, I pivoted and went and did a higher diploma in counseling because I just wanted counseling psychology. I wanted to understand people and how they work. Yeah, and that led me to now doing a master's in sociology. So, and in sociology, I am studying the intersection of disability and gender. So, my interest is in reproductive health rights of disabled women, and also working around. I volunteer with special schools, and I want to understand how our special education system works and how we can make it more inclusive for children with disabilities.
And what have you realized in the special education in other schools? What have you discovered?
Yeah, so I have discovered that our education system is very I don't want to use the word discriminatory, but it really separates children with disabilities, and I don't think that is beneficial to all children. So when we put children with disabilities in separate schools away from other children, we do not service or serve with justice to our communities, because children with disabilities deserve to interact with everyone, and everyone deserves to interact with people who have disabilities. So if we separate them and put them into special schools, and the excuse can be that it is easier to put resources in one area. So the thing that governments will say is that we want to set apart a special school. If it is a special school for children who are blind, we are able to put all the resources there. But again, we can separate these resources and see how we can put children in inclusive schools. So where we are moving is to move from special education into inclusive education. And inclusive education means that and some schools are making strides, and our education system might be trying. Like in Nyeri, one of the schools that we have that is trying to do inclusive education is Nyamachaki Primary School, where the special class is in the is in the is in the school. It's in Nyamachaki Primary School. Is that the children who need special education are in a separate class, and so they are able to interact with other children, and they are able to, and other children are able to see children who have differences. So and that's beneficial. But as we move, other schools can adopt this and make it inclusive, that all children can learn in the same environment, play in the same environment, and they can interact with each other's differences.
Have you ever gone somewhere and you feel you are straining to go for maybe for a to go for stairs or to walk on somewhere it is maybe it is too long, and then you feel like you want to complain but you keep quiet? How can you how did you react in such a scenario?
As I said earlier, self-advocacy. You learn self-advocacy as you grow. Of course, in my younger days, it was difficult. As I said, if there's something I needed as a child, it's difficult to say that, especially for me, it's seats and beds. So if I'm in high school, kila mtu amepewa a mattress like everybody else. But there's a specific mattress that I need. So I'm not able, I am a child. First of all, the intersectionality of being a child, nobody takes you seriously. And now you're a child with a disability. I'm not able to go and say, no, this is not comfortable. I cannot sit here. I cannot use this mattress. And I need help with this and this. So I was not, and as children, especially African children, we are not given the resources to advocate for ourselves. But when you grow older, you get them. You get those resources. Right now, no, right now I'm 29, and I'm not going to struggle when I know there are resources that can make me not struggle. Yeah, so I'll ask if it's in my workplace, I'll ask for this and that when I need them. If I'm going for conferences, if I'm visiting a hotel and I need this and that, I'll just ask. And if those resources are not available, then I'll know what to do. But the first thing is just training yourself how to self-advocate for yourself. Yeah.
And what are the challenges that you face at workplaces? Yes, and also let me ask a question. Do we people living with disability get being difficult to find love? Yes.
Okay, first question is about workplace and difficulties. I want to say the experience of everyone is standard. When we come to the workplace is just the workplace. Now there are difficulties that come with being in a workplace. So as a person with a disability, it does not make you special. You're just like everyone else. You will face these difficulties because you're working with a lot of people. Myself, we have it's a big institution. You're working with many people, so it's a normal working environment, a normal working place. So you decide to live with other people how you want to live with them. So and when it comes to disability, again I go back to self-advocacy. Just if you're struggling just because of your disability, not because you're a person at the workplace, then that is different, and you should know what to do. If you're struggling just because of your disability, then that's a problem. And you should know what to do. Ask for advice. Like our institution, at least we have an office, which is the Gender and Disability Office. So that's what we handle. If you're struggling just because of your disability, then look, if it's in the workplace, look for the employers offerings around that area. Speak to your HR and ask them, what are you struggling with just because of your disability? Is it moving around? I can give an example. So if you're working in an institution like ours, which is very big, and you have a mobility disability, for example, you use crutches, and from one point to another point could be a kilometer in the workplace. Of course you're going to struggle to move around. So what do? Do you keep quiet and you have to walk, use your crutches for a kilometer to move around your workplace? No, self-advocacy is going to your HR and saying that I'm struggling to in this area. I cannot move from point A to point B because of my disability. So what does your employer think they should do? So in my workplace, we have vehicles. We have one vehicle that is specifically set apart for people who have disabilities, mobility disabilities, so they can move around the workplace with it. We have a driver that is dedicated to that. So if you need them, you just call them and tell them, I need to move from point 1 to point B. So that's what I'm talking about. If your difficulty is specifically because of your disability, then that's a problem. But if it is normal workplace issues, then we are not special. Normal workplace issues are for everyone who is working. Yeah, the other question is disability and love. Again, love is love for everybody.
Yeah.
So, but we have a separate issue of disability, and I said disability is very societal. It's how people see it, how people perceive it, and how people perceive people who have disabilities. So, as a person who has a disability, it is a decision you make. Are you going to self discriminate? So, self discriminating is staying at the point of, oh, I have a disability, my life is different, I am not going to experience love and care from other people. So you can make that decision, but we can also make the decision of, I have a disability, I'm going to love my life, and if love finds me in the process of living my life, then that's fine. And again, I think love is beautiful and difficult for everyone equally, and we can have that experience as well. But if you're having difficulty there because of your disability, then again, I think seek resources. I will always be an advocate of seek resources, especially mental health resources. If it's coaching or therapy, just go talk to a therapist and say that is the issue. You find that you're not experiencing love the way you should be just because of your therapist. Just because of your disability, and see what the therapist or the coaching profession says or does. But again, it's most things in life are a decision. So yeah, you there are also obviously difficulties that you can face just because of your disability, but you can conquer them. And if for everybody, I think love is the same for all of us. If it finds you, then good. If it doesn't, then good.
And what was your goal that you dreamt of in your early years? Are they still the ones you changed in between your life?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Um, Goals. When I was a child, I thought I would be a lawyer. Thank God, I did not become a lawyer. I would be a horrible lawyer, but at least I became an advocate because I do a lot of working in gender and disability. I do a lot of advocacy for people. I speak for people who have gone through gender-based violence, people who are needing help because of their disabilities to access resources. So it has become very fulfilling. I thought I would go into human rights law, and I feel like I'm doing that work without the struggle of being a lawyer. So my dreams change every day. I'm pretty sure in 5 years I can wake up and decide to be a veterinary officer. But yeah, my dreams are still, and I think we should dream every day. And you can do whatever you want with your life. You can chase whatever you want to chase in life, except love and death. Those will find you when it's time. But other things, I am very good. I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with what I do, and I'm very satisfied. Uh, my child my childhood dreams have, I would say, they have come true. The child that I was would be very proud.
Oh,
Yeah.
so nice. And do you get any sympathy
Mm-hmm.
at workplace, in town,
Mm-hmm.
or even children or even young adults?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, do you get any sympathy?
Sympathy
Tunasema ile ya kusema
for
uishe.
people who have disabilities,
Yes.
or yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You've never gotten any sympathy?
Maybe before I started working in the area that I work in, I now that I'm very well read and educated in that area, I know that sympathy does not help anyone. People need resources to move with their life. So I so the thing I will think when I see people who are in struggle, the thing I will think is what can I do? So it's not sympathy. So it's children. If there are children who are on the streets and they're just basically street children, there are resources to help them. In Nyeri, we have a resource center where street children can go and be rehabilitated in Dongoma. So if I am feeling sympathy, how does it help them? It doesn't. So it's resources they need. So get those children to access those resources. If it is people who have disabilities on the street, it is resources they need. They don't need sympathy. So, but most of them, unfortunately, the people who have disabilities on our streets begging are not citizens of the country. So, really, they cannot be helped. There are resources to. They cannot be helped by our government, but there are resources to help people with disabilities. We have the National Council for Persons with Disabilities. So, how can, especially when you start when you're younger, get registered with the National Council. Seek bursaries through your disability certificate. So when you go to school, bursaries. When students with disabilities come to the university, they get better packages from HELB, from bursaries, so their education is a little easier to access the finances for it. So those are the resources we need to give people with disabilities, and not sympathy.
And
Yeah.
does your place support people living with disability who are studying here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the really our office is about bringing resources together to take them to the people who need them. So, say we receive a student who has a disability in first year. So the first question is where will they be living? So mostly they will live in the university hostels inside the university, so that they are able to access the university properly. Two, can they go to class easily? So if they have a mobility disability, they have a missing lower limb or something, so give them transport. So that's the other resource they need. When it comes to paying school fees, there are bursaries that are specific for students with disabilities, especially from the National Council of Persons with Disabilities. So help them to access those bursaries so that they are staying there. And help, they have or help, they get a better package. They get the maximum loan, and they also get a grant of a certain amount of money. I think it's 35,000. So that is not part of the loan. Of course, they will get a loan that they'll pay back, but part of the money is a grant for students with disabilities. So it is just bringing resources together, that we tell them, where can you get a resource. If they are not registered with the National Council, help them get registered. If they've not applied for the bursaries, help them apply. So yeah, what help is, it's not handouts. So we don't give them money or handouts. What we give them is access to resources.
And what are your parting shots
Mm-hmm.
to encourage a person living with a disability, or even normal people? I hear that normal people also have inside disabilities.
Yeah.
So what is your encouraging words as
All
we
right.
close?
So I will say that we all have an opportunity to live a full, beautiful life. And you can wake up every day and make that decision. If life is getting difficult, or there are hitches here and there, please look for where to get the resources to get help. If you're in school, find the offices that can help you. If you're in university, go to your students' welfare. If you're working, go to your HR and speak up. If you're in our communities, find the offices that can help you, and find the people who can lead you to the direction where you can get the resources that can help you. But the decision is, you can chase anything you want in life. It is possible to have a mindset that can tell you that every day you wake up, you want to have a good day. The goal of life every day is to have a good day. Please seek that.
And can you tell us the details for December? I hear December is a month where we encourage people with living disability to come out.
Yeah, so the International Day of Persons with Disabilities is on 3rd December every year. It's a UN Day, United Nations Day for Persons with Disabilities. So yeah, it's on that December. I think the National Council for Persons with Disabilities organizes different counties, because we have county offices. They're usually fun activities. Yeah, just look for your county's office and see where the celebrations will be, and go and learn. For people who do not have disabilities, go and learn about disabilities, and where you can be a resource to help the community of people with disabilities. If you're in institutions, you can plan for the day. So if you are a school, you're a bank, you're a hotel, you can choose to celebrate that day and probably invite people with disabilities, educate your staff members and employees about serving people with disabilities, and that will be an addition to the community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. As we now close with a word of prayer, and then yes. So thank you, God, for this day that you have given us. Thank you for the conversation that we have had with Jerry Muthoni. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So thank you for watching, and do not forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. And so thank you very much, Jerry Muthoni, for saying yes to the invite. I was somehow ish, but
Yeah.
thank God we have had a good time.
Okay.
So yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah.